Welcome to Pagoda Podcast, where we explore ideas, strategies, and insights to help businesses grow and scale. I'm your host, Steve, and joining me today is the CEO of Black Pagoda.
It's great to be here.
So today we're diving into a topic that, it feels like it's everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And yet, when you really peel back the layers of the research, the market data, it's still fundamentally misunderstood. We're talking about automation. But I want to be really clear right off the bat. We're not talking about setting up an email autoresponder to save 5 minutes.
Right. Not a tech tip.
Not a tech tip. I've been looking through this stack of valuation reports you send over, and the mission of this deep dive feels very, very different.
It is different. The trap that most people fall into is viewing automation as a convenience.
Yeah, a life hack.
Exactly. Or a simple tech upgrade to make your daily life a little less annoying. And sure, that is a benefit. But if we look at this through the lens of our work, which is specifically about business valuation, about exit strategies, automation isn't a tech tip. It is a strategic value driver.
Right. And that's the shift. That's what I want to explore. We're sort of flipping the script from efficiency to equity.
I like that.
We're asking, how does replacing human effort with systems actually make a company worth more money when it comes time to sell? So setting the stage here.
Yeah.
Why is automation so central to the approach when we're valuing a business?
It really comes down to three things: reducing risk, increasing margins, and ensuring scalability.
Okay.
When you look at a business from the outside, from a buyer's perspective, whether that's a private equity firm or a competitor, those are the three pillars they're actually paying for.
They're not paying for your hard work.
They are not paying for your hard work. They are paying for the results that your systems produce.
That is a massive distinction. And honestly, it's a bit of a hard pill to swallow for some of us.
It is.
We grow up with this idea that effort equals value. The romantic image of the founder burning the midnight oil, doing everything, being the hero.
The hero founder, right.
But reading through these due diligence checklists, it seems like a buyer looks at that hero founder and doesn't see value. They see a liability.
Precisely. Buyers don't buy effort, they buy systems. If a business relies on heroic individual effort, it is inherently risky. We call this the Keyman discount in valuation circles.
A Keyman discount.
Yeah. And I've seen deals where the valuation is knocked down by 15, even 20%, simply because the founder is too involved.
Wow.
Because the buyer has to ask, what happens if that hero gets sick? What happens if they burn out? Or, this is the big one, what happens when that hero leaves the building after the check clears?
The business effectively leaves with them.
It does.
It's like buying a car where the driver is the engine. If the driver leaves, you just bought a really expensive metal box.
That is a great way to put it. A business relying on heroism is volatile. A business relying on automation is consistent.
And consistency is where the value is.
Consistency is what drives up the multiple you get at an exit. So the mission of this deep dive is to explore exactly how to build that consistency. We're not just trying to make the workday easier. We're trying to maximize exit readiness.
Okay, let's unpack this. Looking at the framework here, we've got 5 specific upgrades, let's call them, where automation really shifts the needle. First one, financial automation.
Right.
Now, for a lot of visionaries, bookkeeping is, the vegetables they have to eat. But I was reading about quality of earnings reports, Q of E, and it seems this is where deals often die. Why is automating the books so critical?
It's the difference between looking through a windshield versus looking in the rearview mirror.
Okay.
Traditional manual bookkeeping, it often means you get a report 3 weeks after the month ends. That's retrospective. You're just reacting to things that have already happened.
You're always behind.
Always behind. But for valuation, when a buyer comes in, they enter that due diligence phase, they're going to tear your books apart.
And this is the stress test. I've heard horror stories of deals falling apart because a founder had, expenses categorized loosely, receipts in a shoebox.
It happens all the time. If your financials are manual, there are going to be errors. It's just human nature. And every single error erodes the buyer's trust.
And if they can't trust the numbers.
They can't trust the valuation. But more specifically, let's talk about add backs.
Right.
Sellers often want to add back personal expenses to show the business is more profitable than it looks. If you have automated, clean, tagged records, a buyer accepts those. If it's manual and messy, they reject them. And that can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So it's not just about being tidy. It's about defending your price tag. It's the difference between, I think we made this much, improving it with a click.
That is the key insight. Businesses with automated financials just face fewer valuation discounts.
Because there's less perceived risk.
Exactly. A buyer sees a mess, they hedge their risk by offering less money, they see a clean, automated, real-time system, and that risk premium disappears. They know the numbers are trustworthy.
It makes total sense. Okay, let's move to upgrade number 2, CRM and sales systems. This is interesting because I feel like there's a bit of a debate here. Some people say sales is an art form.
The gift of the gab.
The gift of the gab. It's relationships, charisma. Can you really automate that without losing the soul of the business?
You absolutely can, and you must if you want to sell the company. Think about it this way. You aren't automating the handshake.
Okay.
You're automating the memory and the process that leads to the handshake.
So we're moving away from the rainmaker model, the one person who holds all the relationships in their head.
Exactly. Buyers crave visibility into the future. If your sales process is manual, based on a charismatic founder making phone calls, that's just a black box.
Right. No one can see inside.
And they certainly can't replicate it. If you leave, the revenue might leave. That is terrifying for an investor.
So they're buying a history of sales, but not a system for future sales.
That's it. An automated CRM, an automated sales system that changes the dynamic entirely. It provides a predictable pipeline.
Right. You can show your work?
You can show a buyer, look, here are our lead sources, here's our conversion rate at each stage, and here's exactly why we project X amount of revenue next quarter. It turns sales from an art into a science.
It creates a machine. You put $1 in marketing, you get $2 out in revenue, and you can prove the math.
And that machine is transferable. That is the strategic impact. It gives the buyer confidence that the revenue will continue after you're gone. If the sales system runs on automation-driven campaigns, automatic follow-ups, lead scoring, it doesn't need you.
Which leads us perfectly into upgrade number 3, operational workflows and reducing owner dependence. This feels like the big one. We touched on human risk earlier, but how do we actually solve the hit by a bus scenario?
Right.
And I don't mean just writing down a Word doc that says how to do my job.
Yeah. No, and that is a crucial distinction. A lot of people think SOPs, standard operating procedures, are the answer, but nobody reads a 40-page manual until something breaks.
Sure.
We're talking about active workflow automation.
So not a document that says what to do, but software that makes it happen.
Correct. This is about removing the bottleneck problem. If the owner is the bottleneck for every decision, every quote, every fix, the business is not scalable.
It's just a job.
It's a job. You can't sell a job. You can only sell a business. So we focus on aligning AI-powered tools with business strategy. We map a workflow, let's say, onboarding a new client. Instead of you sending 5 emails and pinging the team on Slack, an automation tool does all of it the second the contract is signed.
It's interesting because psychologically, I think a lot of owners actually fear this step.
They do.
Their sense of worth is tied to being the one who puts out the fires. If they automate themselves out of the process, they feel irrelevant.
It's the paradox of entrepreneurship.
But looking at the valuation data, becoming irrelevant to the daily operations is actually what makes you rich at the exit.
That's it. To build something valuable, you must build it so it doesn't need you. And automation is the primary method for decoupling the owner's time from the business's output.
Decoupling time from output. I love that phrasing. That sounds like the holy grail.
It is. When you achieve that, your valuation skyrockets. A buyer sees that the machine runs without the operator constantly cranking the handle. They can step in or put a general manager in, and the value creation continues.
It transforms it from a high-stress lifestyle business into an actual investable asset.
Exactly. And automation scales infinitely. Human effort does not.
Okay, let's look at upgrade 4. Data, dashboards, and decision-making. This feels like the command center idea. I was reading a case study about a business that got a lower multiple because their data was fragmented.
Data latency.
Data latency, that's what the buyer called it. Marketing data here, inventory over there.
Yeah, data latency is a valuation killer. The problem isn't getting data, it's understanding it quickly enough to act. This upgrade is all about implementing AI-powered dashboards and real-time visualization.
So instead of digging through 5 different logins to see what's happening, it's all in one place.
Correct. But let's look at it through the buyer's eyes again. Imagine you're walking into the cockpit of a plane you're about to buy. If there are no dials and the pilot says, "Oh, I just feel the wind to know how fast we're going," you are going to be terrified.
I'm definitely getting off that plane.
But if you walk in and there's a dashboard showing altitude, speed, fuel, trajectory, all in real time, you feel in control, you feel safe.
You feel confident.
That's what these dashboards do. They let a buyer understand the business instantly. They don't need a 3-hour explanation from you to understand why margins dropped last month. They can just drill down and see it.
It creates transparency.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between a sealed box and a glass case. You can see what's happening inside, so you trust the product more.
And that transparency accelerates the deal. It reduces the trust tax that buyers levy on opaque businesses.
So we've got financials, sales, operations, and data. We've covered a lot of ground. What's the common thread tying all of these upgrades together? If I'm an investor, what's the one word automation signals to me?
Risk, or rather the absence of it. Risk reduction is the umbrella. Every single one of these upgrades is about removing a variable that could go wrong.
So automation isn't really about efficiency in the abstract. It's about safety.
It is about risk and confidence. Buyers are risk averse. They are looking for reasons not to buy your company or reasons to pay less for it. Automation removes those reasons. It leads to less chaos and fewer surprises.
And fewer surprises sounds boring, but in the world of M&A, boring is incredibly profitable.
Boring is beautiful when you are writing a check for millions of dollars. There is a direct financial correlation here. Higher confidence from the buyer translates directly to a higher willingness to pay.
So automation is the bridge.
It's the bridge between operational efficiency and a higher exit multiple. You're not just selling a company, you're selling a predictable, low-risk stream of cash flow, and that is worth a premium.
I think that's the moment. We usually think of automation as an expense, paying for software, paying for consultants. But framing it as a risk reduction tool for a future buyer changes the whole priority list.
Exactly.
It stops being an operational expense and becomes a capital investment in the asset value of the business.
You're not spending money on software, you're investing in the transferability of your goodwill.
So if I'm listening to this and realizing my business is a little too dependent on my own heroic efforts,
Yeah.
where do I start? This can feel overwhelming. What are the big takeaways?
Let's boil it down to the triad of value. If you take nothing else away from this, remember these 3 impacts of automation. Number 1, automation boosts margins. It makes you more efficient, more profitable today.
Right now.
Right now, that increases your baseline EBITDA. Number 2, automation reduces risk. It removes human error. It removes the dependency on the owner, solving that Keyman issue.
And number 3.
Number 3, automation increases exit value. It makes your business a transferable asset that buyers will compete for rather than a job they have to figure out how to do.
Margins, risk, and exit value. That is a powerful trifecta. And I imagine for a lot of people, the theory is sound, but the implementation is the hurdle. How do I actually build the dashboard?
That's always the challenge. Strategy is one thing, execution is another. You need to look at your business holistically. Don't just patch holes with random apps. Build a system that talks to itself.
Well, if you are looking to build that system, or if you're preparing for growth or an eventual exit, there's a clear next step. These strategies we've discussed, making your business attractive to buyers, that's exactly what Black Pagoda specializes in.
Absolutely. We help owners decouple their time from their earnings and build that asset value so they aren't trapped in the daily grind.
So for our listeners who want to dive deeper into practical automation and valuation strategies, the place to go is www.blackpagoda.com. Consider it your starting point for getting serious about your exit.
It's about building a business that gives you freedom now and a fortune later.
I love that. Freedom now, fortune later. Thank you for breaking this down for us. It's been a fascinating look under the hood of what actually drives value.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Think about your own workflows today. Are you building a job for yourself, or are you building a system for a buyer? We'll catch you on the next one.